Welcome aboard, and thank you for tuning in once again to the Heavy Metal Truckers. We are your hosts. I am Pincushion, and this is Doppler. And in this video, we are doing a viewer request from the pit.
Yes, this is from Chill 07 Full.
Yeah.
Subscriber. Hello. He sent us an email requesting some more Japanese metal requests. We've already done the Japanese metal part 1, 2, and 3 were, I believe, from him as well. So now we have more parts from him. Though we are going to, after we got 3 more parts from him that he's recommended. After these, we are going to slow down on the Japanese metal. We're not going to stop. Just going to slow down.
Pump the fucking brakes.
Yeah. We're just going to slow down so we can get more variety onto our channel. Not that we don't dislike, we love Japanese metal. I still say it's probably got the best scene going right now.
There are other regions of metal that deserve attention.
Attention to, yep. Yeah.
Let's go, Sweden. Let's go.
Didn't Johannes say that during the show?
No, everyone was saying that to Johannes.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and he was trying to be in character, but he just broke it because he just tipped his hat like a thank you.
Yeah, I know it had something to do with Johannes.
Yeah.
Can't help but love that dude.
He's just one of the best performers.
He really is. I've said it before, if you've never seen Avatar in concert,
oh, please
I don't care if you're a fan of them or not. Go. You will not regret it. Especially if they're headlining.
Oh, God, yes. If they're headlining, they just rip it.
Actually, Chill 07 Full, odd, weird question. Did your wife join too? Like sub too? Because remember there was a woman's name with 07 Full? Don't know if it's just a weird coincidence or if that was your wife.
We were genuinely curious. We're like, oh, right. Oh, cool. Did a couple subscribe to us? If that's the case, then we're glad both of you guys watched.
That's awesome.
Did not expect that to happen.
Yeah.
Granted, we don't really expect anyone to subscribe to us or watch us remotely.
That's why we appreciate all 66 of you currently. So we're going to start with Devil Within, Flames of the End. Now, you mentioned in here, which I knew she had another band. I just could not remember the name of it. This is you from Merging Moon, who I said I think is probably the best female, if not just in general, harsh vocalist in Japan right now. This is her other band, Devil Within.
I would say she's one of the best because it's still the vocalist from Kokeshi, for me, anyway.
She's good, but she has more variety in her harshness.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Especially if you watch Grayin, like, it's just nuts what she can do.
Yeah.
Now, the one song that we listened to from Merging Moon that you saw that we did on this channel, her vocals were not as rangy in that one as it is in, like, Grayin.
Gotcha.
I don't know about this one. We'll see. Immediate In Flames vibes.
She sounds so much like Alyssa here.
A little bit, yeah.
as we were. Come as you were.
Oh, Lord. You still laughing at yourself? Then I will begin. So, firstly, I very much prefer her with Merging Moon. Not that what she did there was bad. I mean, she did great, but I prefer Merging Moon, at least based on that song. Don't mind Pincushion over there.
Sorry.
Because in Merging Moon, she shows a lot more variety in vocals, where this was just straightforward, vocally, which isn't bad. It's just I prefer, where she shows off her range more. Was it just me? It might just be me, but was there a hint of progressive in there?
No.
Okay, it was just me. And I only say that because I enjoyed the melodic parts, but there were times where it would change up so much that the song never really got into a groove.
I'll explain why I said no.
Like for me, it just never, like, it would almost get there and then they would change it up, which there's nothing wrong with changing up, but I feel like when you're doing melodic style metal, unless you're trying to be a progressive band, it needs to get into a groove. To me, anyway. That's just a personal preference thing. And it never really did. That being said, are you still laughing at yourself?
I'm laughing about mainly how I just went over and tried to get to the tag.
Anyway, so, I mean, that being said, the guitar work, the drums, everything was well done. The guitar solo fit the song. It might have been a hair too long for me and my ADD, but it did fit the song. It was actually a song that called for being a little flashy. But yeah, overall it was all right for me. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either.
So, I actually thoroughly enjoyed this, primarily because it reminded me of old school metalcore back when it was actually good. They actually had some more aggressiveness to it, and it wasn't just let's go full on melodic and just destroy the distortion and just.
Well, you've never been the biggest fan of melodic, which I love melodic.
Yeah.
Like I can get lost in melodic.
I do enjoy melodics. I enjoy.
Yeah, but not as much as I do.
No, but I do enjoy Amon Amarth and their melodic death metal.
Yeah.
I enjoy some of the older Arch Enemy, which Arch Enemy does their kind of same category, melodic death metal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, melodic metal core, just same with Amon Amarth essentially. But this made me want to go back and listen to older Trivium.
I could see that.
Yeah,
and it, like I said, it even had some inflame, especially at the beginning. It has some inflame vibes.
Yeah. Now I will say that as far as whenever the leads came in, I enjoyed how they went about it because they collaborated and made it fit the rhythm that was going on.
Yeah, that's what.
And it wasn't overly flashy wankiness on the fretboard.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he did want to get into that, the rhythm complemented it.
Yeah, it did. That's why I was saying it fit.
And they would go faster, so
important.
they went along with him. So I was like, wow, that's very nice. I did feel like it could have been done probably in half the time it took him.
That's what I was going to say. It could have been a little bit shorter.
But I also think the overall track could have been shorter, too.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think that
But I think for me, that was because, for me, again, this is just personal preference. The song never really got into the groove that I felt like it
and
could have used.
This is also because, like, this is one of those more, like, older school metal chords where it had more thrash influence.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it. But
like I said, it wasn't bad, but It's one of those that I have a feeling the more I listen to it, the more I might enjoy it, because I would get past that waiting for something that didn't happen, because now I would know that it's not going to.
Well, I mean, considering it's like musically, it's a blend of the old Arch Enemy with Alyssa for me.
Yeah.
Because they had so much of Arch Enemy influence in it as well for me. Well, just from what I could hear.
Yeah.
Not to say that they were influenced by them at all, but that's the reference point that I have. But on to
the next
Crowd of Rebellion.
Yes. Which apparently this band's getting ready to go on hiatus, according to his
Oh, really?
yeah, according to his
Huh.
comment. Oh.
For anyone that is starting out and is wanting to make it big, do exactly what they're doing. That is how you make it big, and you just put on a show and I'm not gonna say be progressive, but
It kind of was. It was almost like a progressive metalcore.
I was about to say this. Now this was basically progressive metal funk something. Like,
well, it definitely had metalcore elements.
Oh, I know.
100%.
Oh, absolutely. But it's like, if you want to make it big, this is how you do it. Not, and I don't mean just, like I said, going and being progressive. You make your material interesting and you stand out above the rest. That is how you do it.
Yeah, the whole time I was thinking about it, or we were watching, I'm like, you know, especially when you're in, because ultimately I'd probably consider them a metalcore band.
Oh, they're hands down.
When you're in the metalcore, the best thing to do, like you said, is make yourself stand out, and they did that. Not just with the music, but with the music video, everything. And like, if you're gonna get into, you've got to do that if you want to make it big. Now I've never heard of them before, so they haven't gotten there yet. I don't know how long they've been around, and it does say they're gonna go on hiatus. But the potential's there.
The potential is beyond there. Like, they have what it takes. If they keep up that energy and that uniqueness, they will absolutely make it international.
You can tell that they're having a blast doing it.
Yes.
Just by what was going on in the music video, the sounds they were doing, like they, in a way, they kind of reminded me of Maximum the Hormone in that sense. Is that they take it seriously without taking it seriously. If that makes any sense at all.
Yes, it is. It does make sense, because you're having fun with what you're doing, but you're trying to also keep that chaos in line.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, there were some parts that I absolutely did not like, but that's just because there were some elements in there that I've never cared for to begin with. So I had a love-hate relationship with this piece.
Right.
But the parts I did love, goddamn, guys, you are amazing.
I would agree with that. Like, so far, I don't know what it is, but all these American metalcore bands need to take notes from these Japanese metalcore bands, because they know how to, well, most of them know how to separate themselves.
Well, it's not just taking notes of Japanese metal groups, but just,
well, metalcores.
Well,
but yeah, go ahead.
Look back on your influences and look back as to what made you want to become a musician, what made you want to pick up your instrument. Remember what that group did and incorporate elements. And this is not just for, like, the guitarist or the drummer to incorporate their element. Just everyone incorporate the elements of your influence and be something that no one else has heard before. And then from there, find your style that separates you from your influence and allow your influence to be your influence, and almost like not even the backbone, but just the blueprints for what you became. That's how you fucking make it.
Yeah, and a lot of people go out and say, I hate it when bands get, use influences where, because then they sound like these other groups. If you take your whole band, like you were saying, and you take everybody's influences together, that's how you create something new, or something different, because you're meshing stuff. Kind of like what you were saying,
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes back to the quote from Geddy Lee in his book, My Effin' Life. If you have three, I'm paraphrasing at this point, but if you have 3 influences, you're derivative. If you have 100 influences, you're original.
Yep.
Just, a group is not made on just one particular group that everyone enjoys. Now, that can happen, but they're gonna use pieces like, I'll give it Priest an example. One of Was it pre? No, maybe. There was a group that I'm thinking of that they were heavily influenced by Cream and maybe even Deep Purple, but once you start incorporating the elements of those guys, and you start messing around with it, you could also be taking upon the influences from that Cream and Deep Purple had. These are building blocks that create amazingness, and you're not gonna it's rare for a group to be able to have their own sound from the very beginning, and half the time if they do, it really is just from the couple groups that they've heard around them, and then they try and be them. But everyone in the group needs to incorporate influences from each other, and that's how you make an amazing ordeal. But anyways, back to this actual piece that we're trying to talk about.
Well, that's what we've been talking about, is how how to be original and stand out like they did with this song and this video.
Now, the biggest part that I wasn't particular on, and I've never cared for, even back whenever metalcore was starting to incorporate it, and this was probably 09 or later on, is whenever they had that pretty much that breakdown, and then incorporating the just that intermission of a random scale thrown in.
Right.
I've never cared for that. But the rest of everything else, how they did their transitions, that was progressive.
Yeah,
at its finest.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's kind of what made me start thinking of Max and the Hormone a little bit. That and them not taking things, you could tell from that one little.
Honestly, I was thinking about Rush and how, since Rush is a huge prog rock, and hearing their timing changes and just randomness. But yeah, fucking well done, guys. I hope your hiatus goes the way you want it to. On to the next.
Yes. Nope. Okay. Which was what?
Drag down. Live or leave or die. Immediate Hatebreed vibes.
think my favorite thing, and that was almost the mixing.
Dude, that fucking bass sound was one of the best I've heard.
I
in a
know. I
long
was
time.
loving every fucking second of that. Like I was sitting there listening to that, and I love how clearly I can hear everything. And because when the song first started, like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, because like you
Right.
said, it did have Hatebreed vibes, and I've never cared for Hatebreed. But then I started realizing, wow, I could hear everything so well. I just started concentrating each thing, and I got lost in it, which is weird. So by the end, I was actually enjoying it because I don't know. It's not often that we listen to a song, or I listen to a song, when I can so clearly hear each instrument like that, and where I can lose myself in each one. If that makes any sense.
I have my suspicions as to why this one in particular.
What's that?
So, yeah, this was much more of a modern take on metal, and it was ever so slowly, just treading the waters into like this slamming hardcore whatever, but it had such a the foundation of old school hardcore, where it was just like they weren't trying to do the like any kind of slamming breakdown or anything. They were just had a consistent solid groove and rhythm, and they stuck to it, and they just, whenever they went and changed it up a little bit, it still kept within that groove that they had, and then they just came back right to what they were doing. And I'm like, that's something I have not heard in a long time.
Simple yet effective.
Yeah, it's simple yet effective. Keep it fucking simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that, and again, it's because it had some of those older just hardcore roots that like I even enjoy.
It did. It felt like something that came from like the late 90s, early
Yeah.
2000s. It really did. Yeah, I mean, at first, like I said, because I've never cared for Hatebreed. I've even seen Hatebreed in concert. I never cared for them. But the mixing saved it for me. It really did, because I got lost in it, and
It
made me appreciate all of it,
Yeah.
that much more.
Like, and it was like, as clean as it sounded, it was still fucking good. Like it,
Yeah.
but they cleaned it up in a way that allows you to hear everything, but yet still keep the energy that they had.
Oh, it definitely had it.
And that's the
doubt
biggest
about it.
problem I have with modern metal, is that just the mixing cleans it up too much, and it loses the core of what it is.
Now, the other thing I was trying, was the bassist a female, or was it a dude with long hair? I was trying to figure that
I
out.
was kind of thinking about that as well, but I'm like, you know what? I just don't care, because that bass sounds
eventually
so
I didn't
fucking
care,
good.
but I wasn't curious.
It was a thing that crossed my mind, but I'm like, at this point, just God, that bass sound. But yeah, that was damn good. And the vocalist was just so fucking solid in her performance.
Yeah, she really was.